Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to The Lovely Grind. My name is Michael Preby, and my website is lovelygrind.com. That's where you're going to find blog posts about health, healing, and happiness. That's also where you'll be able to find information about my coaching, information about my support and success monthly membership, and some other inspirational stuff, as well as tips and tools for healing. So I hope you'll check that website out, and thanks for tuning into this YouTube channel and today's video, which is going to be focused on a productive way that we can see ourselves during the withdrawal and healing process, a way that we can view ourselves and the process in general so that we can keep moving forward towards success and healing. Now, I was on Paxil and Xanax. For those of you who aren't familiar with my story, I was on those two medications for over a dozen years for anxiety and panic attacks, things that I was experiencing way back when as I was heading into my final year of university. So I was on those meds for quite a while until, for various reasons, I decided I wanted to get off of them. And I did get off of both of them, both the SSRI and the benzo, but I then went through a withdrawal that I really wasn't expecting, didn't know anything about, and that scared the heck out of me. I wondered if I was dying, if I was losing my mind, if I would ever get better. I did get better. I didn't lose my mind and I didn't die, obviously. So those are a few of the fears, though, that go through a person's head as they're going through this crazy process of prescription drug withdrawal. And indeed, they went through mine as well. One thing that I was asked a few years back by a coaching client that led me to make this video, when she was asking about how I saw the withdrawal experience, maybe as I was going through it, or if I was looking at others. She said, "I know you're a writer. I know you like to write. So what would a writer's take be on this process?" And I thought about that, and I said, well, it would be to see yourself as the protagonist in a success story, in an inspiring movie, in an inspiring novel, in the sorts of entertainment that we watch that really touch our hearts, and we look at a character, the ups and downs, the highs and lows, the twists and turns, and they go through all this, and at the end of the story, there's a positive resolution and something that lifts us up, and the nice music plays, and we say, man, am I glad I watched that story. Well, I think that's how we can see ourselves in this process, as the protagonist, as the hero in a success story, in a comeback story, in a story of redemption, in a story that's ultimately going to be successful and uplifting at the end. Now, if you think of any movie you've seen that's inspired you, or any book you've read, whether fiction or nonfiction, and there's a main character in that book or in that story, in that movie, they're never going through smooth sailing the whole time. That'd be pretty boring. No one would go to see that movie. No one would read that book. Every single character that ultimately finds redemption and growth and inspiration and happiness goes through some pretty severe lows, goes through periods of loss, goes through periods of illness, goes through periods of stress, goes through periods where he or she feels as if the rug's just been yanked out from underneath all their dreams. Maybe you felt that way as you're going through this process that can be so confusing and harrowing at times. But I urge you to see, especially the low points, as things that aren't the end of you, but as things that are being endured so that at the end you come out stronger, so that at the end you come out healthier, at the end you come out more fulfilled, wiser, more spiritually developed. I urge you to see especially those low times as times that are building you, and some of the plot twists and turns, so to speak, that are leading ultimately to that happy ending. Now, I think that sometimes we look at the lives of politicians, celebrities, the lives of public figures, athletes, or we watch a movie or read a book and we think, oh, these people's lives, maybe there's some inspiring things there, But my life is just pain. That pain doesn't mean anything. My life is just heartache. That heartache doesn't mean anything. So we turn outward and latch onto the stories of others to find our inspiration, to see how meaningful the human experience and this journey called life is. And we forget sometimes that our lives are just as meaningful. No man or woman has a more meaningful life than ours. No fictional character has something that is more complex than our story. If you're going through withdrawal, if you're in the process of tapering or coming off these pills, and then eventually trying to stay off them and get out of that whole system, that's one of the most complex, meaningful stories of transformation that exists. And I urge you again to see yourself as the protagonist, the main character, the hero in this ongoing success story that's being created, and this beautiful character arc of yours that's happening as you grow. Now, I know it's not always easy to see ourselves that way, right? It's easy to feel like the victim, because in some respects, we all were victims of circumstances, of doctors, of big pharma, of a system that looks at prescription pills as a solution for our emotional and mental problems, for things like grief, anxiety, depression, when really the ultimate solution is going to lie in other things. So yes, all of us were victims in a sense, but we can't see ourselves as victims. We have to see ourselves as the hero, the one who gets knocked down on the mat a few times, but never refuses to get back up. We always get back up. We can't see ourselves as someone who's being punished by God, although people might feel that way. We have to see ourselves as someone who's being protected and guided by God, even in the times when we don't necessarily feel Him. If you're living and breathing, you've survived some very difficult times by His grace, and with His grace, you'll move forward. So it's easy to see ourselves in a negative light, as someone who's crippled, someone who's been victimized, someone who has been abandoned. But I urge you to take a more positive look, a writer's approach, if you will, to envision your story as a beautiful movie, as an inspiring book, and to see yourself as the hero who's going through all these unimaginable twists and turns on your way to something better. And eventually, when those end credits are rolling and that beautiful music is playing, and there's been a resolution to a lot of these things you're going through, which will happen if you just keep moving forward, you're going to look back and say, wow, that was a very, very meaningful journey I just lived. And maybe some other people eventually will like to hear about it as well. My name is Michael Priebe. I hope you've enjoyed this video. My website's The Lovely Grind. Please click thumbs up on the video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't already. Again, you can visit lovelygrind.com to find out information about my coaching, my Support and Success monthly membership area, or to sign up for my free mailing list and get all my blog posts about health, healing, and spiritual growth. I hope that you'll come back here for my next video, and until you do, please remember to take care of yourself and your dreams.